people say it's reliable or strong.
Yep. So today we got some interesting camera. So first up, we'll do all one by one. So okay, we got this tiny fellow here. It's gold plated and it's heavy. So it's 196 grams for this size. It's about 7.5 cm, 4 cm. But you got to feel it, it's hefty.
Is it made out of gold?
It's gold plated. And this is called the Golden Ricoh 16 by the Ricoh company who gives you the GR3, GR camera. This Ricoh is solid fellow. It's a 16mm sub-miniature camera. So like some sort like a spy camera. So sliding cover, and you have a cassette. So you spool in the film one end, and then you hook it up to the take up. Then you slot inside, and you put the film between this pressure plate. Okay, once that's done, you slide it in, lock it. Then it has interchangeable lens. Screw mount, very tiny. And it's a fixed mount lens, fixed focus, but it got a aperture, variable aperture. This one is 3.5 to f16. The focal length is 25 cm. Okay, so screw it in, fixed focus, wind on, then you can set shutter speed from 150, 100, 200 MB. So this part is just like a regular camera. You wind and click. For flash, you put a flash cable here, flash socket here. And to hold the camera, there's only one strap lock, one eyelet, put at the wrist strap. And if you want to mount it on the tripod, you got the opposite. You put a tripod, the camera will be mounted this way. Then your ball head can swing it this way. Now you peep through the viewfinder, you can see a bright line, like the Leica. The bright line that will tell you the picture area. So more of a novelty, but yeah. If you can find one that is good, this one, the gold plating is fading off except for the lens. But if you have it all in good shape, it will still cost quite a bit. Golden Ricoh 16. This one is a tiny fellow. Ricoh. From the Ricoh company. Okay, that's one. Okay, this done. Okay, what we have here? We have this is called the FE2. This is the Russian cryptic. This is the Romanized one, FED2. It looks like one of the early Leica copies, screw mount. So it has a Leica thread mount, and it has their own kind of rangefinder cam. Not the round one. The round one is a Leica. This one is a little bit triangular shape. So, but the thread mount is the same. So you can actually put this lens onto a screw mount Leica, and vice versa. You can put a Leica lens on this camera. So put it in. Yeah. It's like those collapsible Leica Elma. So you go, don't use, push it in. And when you use, take it out. And then you got the aperture control in front on 3.5 to 16. And then you got the focusing. Self-timer, PC sync. And this one, instead of the usual Leica 2 window, one for viewfinder and one for rangefinder, they combine it together. So it's a combined viewfinder, rangefinder. And they also have this eye adjustment, diopter adjustment, so that you can focus the image to suit your eye. So focus it sharp. Gold shoe, cloth shutter from 130 to 1/500. Knob winding. And the base of this rangefinder is pretty long, so quite accurate. And they follow the Zeiss way of opening the back, so you got 2 keys. Unlike the Nikon, only got 1 key. Then got 2 keys, and you slide it out. And this one is heavy duty metal, tough fellow. Everything looks solid. Yeah. Then you got the usual. Because this is removable, it's easier to load the film. And this is your take-up spool. And unlike the Leica one, you have to slot it in, a bit tricky. So this is FE2. Now the FE is just a short abbreviation of the man who is in charge of this factory. So after the war, there were a lot of orphan children. And they wanted to have a community to give these boys who lost their mom and dad in the war, to give them to do something with their hands so that they can earn living. So they decided to set up a factory, like a camera factory. So they produce this, so the boys make this camera and they can earn some money. And this man in charge of it is Felix Edonovich Dzerzhinsky, his name. So the camera becomes FED, his initial. So he was in charge, the KGB chief. He was in charge of this little work where it's run by the orphan children. So this is one of them. Later on, they have many versions, FET 3, 4, 5, and so on. This one is one of those. Nice little fellow, heavy, big screw. You can use an adapter to use a small screw. So tough camera, focal plane shutter. Okay, next. This one finished, done. Now, this one takes us back to 1931, before the war. This is the Kochmann Korelle folding medium format camera. The front flap is missing. So this one, it has a bellow, but it's run on the strut system. So you push it up, it jumps out like a jack in the box. Like a jack in the box. So you got the bellows, then you got the strut, and you have a Pronto 2 shutter. So you have to cock the shutter and click. Cock the shutter and click. Got a long time, the movement is a bit erratic, but it has a shutter speed 1 second to 1/150 with B and T. And the triple lens front cell focusing. So scale focus, 75 mm 2.9. Then medium format film. So you open the back. So vertical mount 645. So you put the 120 film here. And this the window is for you to read the frame number. And they got this little scale here, very small, tiny numbers. This is actually the depth of field scale. So tell you at what distance, at what aperture.
How to see?
Yeah, you need magnifying glass. And this is the viewfinder. Got this vertical mount. To use, you put it up, so you get the same orientation. But to store the camera, it's hinged, so you keep it down. Then when you are done with it, you just squeeze the two strut together and push it in. That's it. Then there's a flap. The flap is missing on this one. So this company was in the town of Dresden. Dresden was the cultural center in Germany for arts, and it happened to have many camera companies, optical company, all there. And during the Second War, when the Allies want to demoralize the Germans, they bombed the city flat. So this factory was bombed flat. If that bomb did not hit this factory, today this would still be a very high-end camera. But because the factory was reduced to rubble, so this camera became a history, no more. So some cameras survived, but some didn't. So that was the cultural center. So that's what got a little handle. German camera, 1931. Okay, next up, a bit modern. I left one camera at home, so I show. This is the EOS1, Canon top-line camera, film camera, etc. They actually had a few. This is the first one. The EOS1 came out in 1989. Groundbreaking camera. This is the camera that knocked Nikon off the stage. Nikon ruled the roost for a long time. We take the best pictures in the world. The Canon was just a second fiddle. Whatever they did, they never got great. But when they introduced the EOS system, the electro-optical system, they do away with their famous Canon FD mount. The FD mount was unique by itself. When you mount the FD lens, the lens don't turn. Just the shell clamping ring turns, but the lens remain the same, don't move, so you got very high precision. But like all things, you try to keep it to the long time, you are limited by your own design and limitation. So they want to leapfrog. So they wanted to do two things. One, they want to increase the throat size of the lens so that allow them to have more faster lenses and things on that. And then they also entered the electronic era, so all the linkages were done by electronics. There's no more mechanical lever to open, close the aperture. So when they introduced this and they came up with this model, swept the world. Together with the long lenses, the media took over the stage from Nikon. So you have this EOS1. This is the compact version. So it uses the lithium battery, 2CR5. It uses this lithium battery. But if you want to have faster, longer power, you can fit this booster. This is a booster. So you can still put the CR5, and inside here, you also have the AA battery. So you combine it together, it gives you a higher film rate, and also it gives you a vertical button, and it gives you a better grip. So this was good. So if you want compact, you get this one. If you want the booster, you take out this holder and fit the booster. So that was the first version. Later on, 1994, they came up with this EOS1n. So basically the same, but they put a lot of more improvements inside. So that also had been the main journalist camera. And in year 2000, they came up with the last one, EOS1V. I did not bring that today, but next day I will bring it and we'll do all the three together. So the EOS1V, the grip is quite big, and firing rate is higher. So, but the shutter is all the same for them, up to 1/8000 to 30 seconds onwards. And so this one is do everything camera, autofocus, manual, so very reliable. So that is Canon.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Can't
Welcome.
wait for the next one.
Yeah.
You got some more cooking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.